Okay, so are you ready to dive in? Because today we're tackling a question that, well, it's been around forever.
Oh, yeah.
What happens after we die?
Spooky, right. And for this deep dive, we're going through these excerpts.
Fascinating.
Yeah, really fascinating. They were put together for teaching, but obviously,
Big topic.
huge topic. We can't cover it all.
Right.
And we won't even try to give you the answer,
Oh, definitely not.
but just explore different ideas, beliefs, you know?
Like a journey through different perspectives on death and dying and...
Exactly, a journey. Okay, so the first thing that jumps out is this idea of a soul,
Right.
which it seems like is a pretty common thread like in Christianity and Islam and Judaism.
Yeah, you see that concept of a soul as like this divine spark, this gift from God.
And then what? What happens to it?
Well, there you get into some really interesting variations.
Right.
Like, take Islam, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
Many Muslims believe in this place called Jannah.
Jannah.
Yeah, Jannah. It's described as paradise.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just...
There are these vivid descriptions, flowing rivers and abundant fruit and shade.
Sounds pretty nice, actually.
It does,
All
right.
right.
But it goes deeper than that. It's about ultimate reward from God, a sign of his mercy.
Ah, okay. So it's not so much about the literal stuff, but what it all represents.
Exactly. Then you have something like the Jewish concept of olam haba.
Olam haba.
Yeah, which is often translated as the world to come.
Okay.
And it's intentionally less specific.
Oh, interesting.
It's more about leaving room for personal interpretation of what that world might entail.
Huh. So less about concrete details, more about keeping it open-ended.
Precisely. Which some people might find more comforting, some might find it a bit more unsettling.
I can see that.
Yeah.
And then you have viewpoints like humanism that don't even focus on an afterlife at all.
Right.
Like, what's their take?
It's all about emphasizing the impact we make while we're alive. So our actions, relationships, the things we contribute to the world.
So that's their legacy.
Exactly, our legacy.
I like that. Okay, so then there's this whole concept of atonement for the wrongs you've done.
Right.
Yom Kippur in Judaism is one example, but I'm curious, are the goals of atonement the same across different beliefs?
That's a good question. Because it's not always just about saying you're sorry. Like, for some, it's about seeking God's forgiveness, trying to restore that relationship.
Right.
And for others, it's more about personal growth.
So becoming a better person.
Yeah, becoming better for yourself and for the people you might have wronged.
It's not just about pleasing a higher power then.
Right.
So the motivation really matters.
It does.
But then what about people who don't believe in a higher power at all? What does atonement look like for them?
Well, then you get into the realm of ethics and morality. It's about acknowledging the harm you've caused, taking responsibility and making amends.
So that could mean like restorative justice or community service or even just deep self-reflection.
Exactly.
So these ideas apply even outside of a religious context.
Absolutely.
Wow, this is fascinating. Okay, so we talked about different approaches to the afterlife, but what about the Day of the Dead in Mexican culture?
Dia de los Muertos.
It's so vibrant, so celebratory. It really stood out to me. Is that a common way to view death?
It's a beautiful example of how death doesn't always have to be approached with just sadness and grief.
Right.
It's about remembering loved ones, welcoming their spirits back, and celebrating the cycle of life and death.
Less about goodbye and more about staying connected.
Yes. And even funerals, which are often seen as times of mourning, can have many purposes.
Like what?
Well, they can be a ritual for finding closure or a way to honor the deceased's life. And for some people, a way to prepare the soul for the afterlife.
Oh, I see. And that actually connects back to another comforting belief. We saw the idea of souls reuniting after death.
Right.
It's like a built-in support system for the bereaved, in a way.
It is. And that brings us to a really key takeaway. How we view death really impacts how we live.
Right.
Does it motivate us to act in certain ways? Or provide comfort during tough times?
These are big questions, huh?
They are big questions worth pondering.
Yeah, my head is spinning with all this. It's amazing to think that we've barely scratched the surface of this whole topic.
I know, right? We've only just dipped our toes into this ocean of beliefs.
But even this little glimpse is so powerful. It reminds us that death, while universal, is experienced in such unique ways by individuals and cultures.
Exactly.
So it leaves me wondering, if you could design your own afterlife, what would it be like?
What would it be like?
What would bring you peace or joy or even challenge?
Now that is a question worth pondering, isn't it? Maybe that's where the real deep dive begins.
You mean within ourselves?
Exactly.
Wow. Okay, I'm going to have to sit with that one.
Me too.
Thanks for taking this journey with me.
It's been a pleasure.
And to all our listeners out there, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep that curiosity alive.
Until next time, see ya.